I love a good fantasy standalone, but the fact is that most fantasy books that I read are part of a series. And in today's video, I want to talk about the series that I'm currently reading. So hello, my fellow fantasy book lovers, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi and welcome. My name is Kathy, I'm a god girl from Belgium, and I love to read fantasy books. For this video, I really wanted series to include that I'm currently reading, but there is a bunch of them that are duologies and trilogies, and those I haven't included in this video. So all of the series that I will be talking about have more than 3 books in them. And also, I am not currently counting series that haven't been released yet or that are still being written. So from the series that I'm mentioning in this video, at least 4 books have already been released and are ready for you to get read. Up first, we have one of my favorite series that I'm hoping to continue very soon, and it is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. Now, I have read book 1, 2, and then one of the in-between books already, so I am currently on 2 books of the 4 actual main books that have been written and released. Now, she recently revised all of those books because it was 10 years since she wrote the first book, The Bone Season, and I actually have the reworked versions on their way to me. So what I'm going to do very soon is I'm going to restart the entire series because I want to see how she reworked it, and I already have the first book up there in my bookshelf, not sure if you can see it or not, and the other 3 are arriving somewhere in the next weeks because I've paid for import taxes. It was way too much, so I hope the books are worth it. And The Bone Season is going to be a 6 or 7 book series in the end. That's already been announced, and she's just slowly but surely going away at the books that are being written, and I hope that the full series will be out very soon, but you already have a bunch of books to get started with. You have 4 main books and then 2 kind of short novellas that complete the story even more. And The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon is actually something that I really enjoy in an urban fantasy. You have a little bit of the realistic elements that you recognize from current state of the world, like cities, names, etc. And for me, this series by Samantha Shannon is urban fantasy meets paranormal fantasy meets sci-fi, and I absolutely love it. In this series, we follow the main character, Paige Mahoney. She has some paranormal abilities. I'm not going to talk too much about what exactly she does because it's explained in the books and part of the storyline. And I feel like she gets kidnapped in the first book, and then all of the people who are captured with paranormal abilities are put into this sort of prison. But what happens afterwards? And that is what these books are about, and I think they're brilliantly written, and I cannot wait to start reading the revised editions once I have all 4 of them, because I know once I start reading this, I'll keep on reading. I, of course, had to talk about Sarah J. Maas. Now, I have to admit that I started the 2 Sarah J. Maas series, so both Throne of Glass and ACOTAR, but I haven't finished either of them because I felt the books became very repetitive and I just couldn't be bothered reading them again. So currently, of A Throne of Glass, I have read 4 out of the 7 books, and I felt the first book, I really enjoyed it. I think I even gave it a 4 stars, but starting book 2, it gets so repetitive that I'm just wondering, am I reading the same books over and over again? So that's why I stopped after book 4, and I might continue this series one day to give you a full update on what I think about the series and if I liked it or not. And then of course there's ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I read the first 2 books because people promised me that book 2 would be better. Book 2 wasn't better. So in ACOTAR you actually have 4 main books and then 1 in-between book, which is 3.5. And actually, if you read ACOTAR and Throne of Glass and then the Crescent City series, there is a little bit of overlap. Some of the characters from one series come into the other series, etc., which is nice if you like them. And I do get the appeal, but it's just not for me. And that's okay. The next big series is finally completed, the last book recently released, and it is the Hades x Persephone series by Scarlet St. Clair. Now, the basic setting of these books is nice. You get a book from the Persephone perspective and a book from the Hades perspective, and they follow kind of the same storyline. The only thing is, they could have easily been combined into one book each instead of 3 separate books from one and then from the other. Because once you've read the first book, you know what's gonna happen. So when you read the Persephone book and then you pick up the Hades one, it feels like you're just reading the same book from a different POV, which is what it is. But it's so boring to me. And then book 7, the last book, is actually a chunk of a book, and there they have combined the 2 POVs. So why couldn't they have done that from the start? Is it to sell more books? Is it so you can pick the POV that you enjoy most? I have no clue. And I'm currently only on 2 out of 7 books. I will eventually read them all, but they're not very high on my priority list, to be honest. And personally, I preferred the Hades perspective more than the one from Persephone, so I might actually keep reading the Hades ones and maybe the Persephone ones. I'm not sure yet. The only thing I know is that I was bored out of my mind while rereading the same story, but from a different perspective. And the Hades x Persephone series is of course a spicy romance series with like the Greek gods and everything involved in them. So if that is a premises that you like, I would highly recommend picking these up. And then finally on my list is a dragon series. It is Temeraire by Naomi Novik. I'm actually on book 1. I'm currently almost done with it, and I think I might read book 2 immediately afterwards or very shortly after it, because I do like the world building. Now, we are following a naval captain who captures a ship, and in that ship is a dragon egg that hatches, and the dragon that comes out of it is named Temeraire. That is the name of the entire series. You will notice within the first chapter of the book. I'm kind of a little bit spoiling, but if you read the back of the book, you would already know it as well. I really enjoyed the main character of this book. He's called Lawrence, and he is like a naval captain, but turns like aviator is the way that they call dragon riders. And I feel like there is a lot of it is set in the world as we know it. So there is nothing like special names or weird names, or it's just like it's Madeira, it's France, it's the UK, etc. And then there's dragons added to it, of course, which I love. I love dragons. I think dragons are one of the best additions you could do to a book series. But yeah, we follow in the first book, it is a lot of like setting up for more. So in the first book, Temeraire literally grows into a full-blown dragon with all of his abilities. He's of course a special type of dragon. Lawrence as a dragon rider also grows, because at first he was a naval officer, then he gets into these dragon quadrants, like the interactions with the dragons are really nice, and I feel like the way that the dragons are in this series is really nice. So I'm personally really looking forward to how this series continues. I hope it isn't as war-based as I'm afraid it might be, because in the first book you already get this there is a war between this and this, and these fleets are attacking those fleets, and you need to pull in reinforcements, etc, etc. So I hope it's not purely a war-based fantasy series, because then I'm not sure if I would continue reading it, but for now I really love it and I'm really enjoying the way it's going. So if you're looking for a full-blown dragon series that is completed with 9 books, then I would highly recommend checking out Temeraire by Naomi Novik. So I hope that this video gives you an idea on series that are available to read. These are all of the series that I am currently reading that are not duologies and not trilogies, or that maybe the books haven't been released yet or aren't out yet, because I feel that's always a disappointment. You want to get into a series, I'm especially like this, I just want to keep reading in the series so I know how it continues and how it ends, and sometimes when that's not possible I get a little bit frustrated because I want to know how it continues. And I'm very much having this issue with the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. I have read Fourth Wing, I have read Iron Flame, I am going to read the 3rd book as soon as it releases. I know there's going to be probably 7 books in that series, but I feel like it's a big struggle for me to wait every year for the new book to be released. So for some of these series I prefer to have them that they're already fully done, that if I want to just keep on binge reading them I can. And then there is one series that is getting a very big honorable mention, and it is the Source of Truth series by Terry Goodkind. Now, my partner loves this series, and he has given me the first book to read, and I started reading it while we were moving. I kind of put it aside somewhere and I never picked it up again. But now somehow my mom started reading the books, out of all people, and she's actually really enjoying them. So that's kind of motivating me to somewhere soon, hopefully hopefully pick up the Sword of Truth series again. The series is very long. There's a lot of books. I don't know how many exactly, because you have the main series, the Sword of Truth, which is like, in Dutch it is De Wetten van de Magie, and there's like 12 or 14 of them. And then you have like the Children of Dara, and you have like other things around it. So it's like we have a full bookshelf that is just those books. So I know it's a lot of them. But yeah, that was a series that I really wanted to mention as well. It is epic fantasy, and I know a lot of people actually really love it. So I felt like I needed to put it in this video. Of course, I would love to know from you which are series that you are currently reading, or which are series that you have already finished that you would highly recommend checking out, because I would love to have more like fully fledged out series that are done to start reading, and if I like them, that I can continue on reading them. So feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and of course feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I make new videos every week and would love to have you for every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon with a new video. Bye!